What's going on YouTube? In today's video we're going to be talking about whether you guys should be buying an F8X M car in 2023. Before we get into the video, I just want to let you guys know this is going to be like a more chill sit down kind of video of me just talking to the camera, so if that's not really your style then peace out. But on the flip side, thank you guys for clicking on this video. I really appreciate it. The last couple videos have done really good, so I appreciate all the support. We're going to keep cranking out these videos on the weekly is my goal. It is hard sometimes to come up with video ideas, especially if the guys aren't really doing anything or there aren't any events in Orlando. But August is pretty filled up, so we should have some content for you guys, so stay tuned. Make sure you guys drop a like, comment down below, subscribe, hit the bell, and now let's get into this video. If you guys have seen any of these videos where people give financial advice, I just want to state that I am not a financial advisor, so everything I say in this video is my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt and don't sue me. But anyways, let's get into the first topic, which is the current price of these cars in today's market. We are not going to be talking about the OG M2 because that has an N55, and for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be sticking to BMW M cars powered by the S55 motor. So beginning with the M2 competition, which I'll talk about briefly, since that is a newer car, I think they started production in like late 2018 and then rolled out the car in 2019. That car is only a few years old compared to the F82 and F80, which came out in 2015. So the M2 comp being a newer car, it's gonna obviously hold its value more and depreciate a little less than cars that were built, in 2015, of course. But for an M2 competition, you can get it from around like 50K with higher mileage to around 65,000. I love the M2 comps. They look amazing. They're great around the track. But again, we're mostly gonna be talking about M3s and M4s in this video. But moving along to the F82 M4, if you guys want a 2015 M4 with higher mileage, you guys can get that car in the mid to high 30s. Yeah, you heard that right, $30,000 for a BMW M car. That is absolutely crazy in today's world. It makes sense with the depreciation and mileage and stuff like that, but you guys can get yourself into an M car for as low as like $36,000 to like $38,000. Again, it's gonna be a higher mileage M4, but again, to get into a BMW M car at that price range is kind of mind-blowing. What's crazy is you can go to the Honda dealership and a new Civic will probably cost just as much, a new Camry probably just as much, but instead of getting that brand new Camry, you can get a older M car, which I would do 10 out of 10 times. But yeah, that is crazy how low the prices of these M cars have dropped. But on the flip side, if you guys want a 2018 M4 with the LCI icons and all the other tech upgrades they did over the years, you're looking around mid 50s to low 60s depending on the mileage and spec, of course, but that is the price range for the M4. Next up, we're going to talk about my car, the F80 M3. You guys can get a 2015 with higher mileage for around like the low 40s, a clean title one at least. All of these cars that I'm talking about are clean titles, no accidents, so you can get one for low 40s. Again, it's going to have higher mileage, but again, to get into a M3, which is my dream car, for low 40,000 is absolutely mind-blowing. So yeah, as you increase the year as well as decrease the mileage, obviously the prices can vary, but again, it's when you get into the 2018 models and up for an M3 and an M4 is when you'll see the prices jump a little bit because all of the upgrades such as the icon headlights, which I have in my 2017 F80 M3. Granted, we are talking about an 8-year-old car right now, at least the 2015, so it is no surprise that these cars have dropped in prices over the years. They've obviously depreciated. A lot of the MSRPs on these cars were over 80K sticker. My car specifically was actually 78.5, I believe. But if you're looking to make that first big jump into your first big boy car, your first sports car, then I think these cars are an amazing deal, an amazing value for what you get. I would say it's a no-brainer to upgrade as long as your financials are right. Because let's be real, $50,000 is a lot of money. Obviously, people don't put all of that down when they buy a car, at least most of them don't. So what made me go from, let's buy a $16,000 car to a $50,000 sports car was the F80 M3 was my dream car at the time coming out of college. The M3 in general has always been my dream car. I wanted an E46 in middle school. I wanted an E92 M3 in high school. And then when I got to college and the F80 came out and I saw them nicely modded, the progression obviously just continued. And that's why I always dreamt of upgrading to the car you guys see behind me, which is going to lead me into my next topic, which is financing and your finances. Again, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just going to tell you my personal experience and my story with how I got my car. I was able to, save enough money and put down around 20%, and I actually got a very, very good interest rate with my credit union. That would be one of my top tips to you guys, is to go out and search around, go ask a couple credit unions, a couple banks, and try to shop around for the best interest rate, because at the end of the day, that's going to basically determine, you know, your monthly payment and how much the bank is going to make from giving you guys your loan. But what I did was I shopped around here in Orlando, found a great credit union that gave me a really good rate. And the reason I say that is because if I went to a car dealership back then, the rate they would have gave me at the dealership would have probably been twice the amount as what I got with my credit union. So that would be my first piece of advice when you're looking to buy one of these cars, is to obviously shop around, go get pre-approved, but also shop around for the best interest rate. Now, if we're talking about interest rates today, which is also the purpose of this video, well, in today's economy, interest rates are kind of high, whether you're buying a house or you want to apply for an auto loan. I think the average right now is around like 5 to 7%, which is pretty high compared to a few years ago. But interest rate aside, you know, you guys have to make sure your finances are right. You don't want to be dropping your whole monthly salary, you know, on your car payment and then not being able to eat or turn the lights on. You know what I mean? Pay rent, pay bills, feed your dog, feed your kids. You guys want to prioritize other things in life first, and then, you know, if you have the income to afford, you know, a monthly payment on one of these cars, then I would say it's worth it. But firstly, you know, shop around, go to a credit union, see if you guys can get a, you know, good interest rate first, as well as getting pre-approved for the amount that you want. You guys are obviously going to be looking at, you know, whatever car you want, and then you're going to take that price to the bank and you're going to say, hey, can I get pre-approved for this amount? And they're probably going to tell you got to drop a down payment of this amount so you guys can get this interest rate for however many months you guys want your term to be. But that is between you, the credit union. But if you aren't making, you know, what you want to be making in order to feel comfortable to purchase one of these cars, then you obviously have something to look forward to. You have something to work towards, a goal, which I tell people all the time. I definitely believe that, you know, if they work hard enough or they save enough, you guys will be able to purchase one of these cars eventually, and I hope one day soon. So that's what I tell a lot of people on Instagram, and I always hype them up because, you know, I'm here to motivate others, because I achieved my dreams. Never thought I'd be able to drive this car, let alone, you know, mod it to the extent that I did. So I'm just a true testament of you can really achieve anything that you put your mind to, and if obviously if you save your money and work hard. But now we can get into the fun reasons of why you should buy one of these cars in 2023. So going back to the first topic that we talked about, which was price. You guys, again, can get one of these cars for high 30s if you're looking at an M4 to low 40s for an M3. And that's going to get you a BMW M car, you know, pushing like 420 horsepower to the wheels, which is absolutely crazy. My first Jetta, I think, was pushing 170 or something to the front wheels, and then my 328 was pushing like 280 or 284 to the rear wheels. So I basically doubled my horsepower of any car that I ever had, and that's stock from the factory. And you're driving a BMW M performance car. Even though I'm a BMW fanboy, I would take this car over like an AMG, a Mustang 5.0, a Charger Challenger for sure, and some other cars in this price range, because I think overall the F80 M3 specifically is an amazing daily, but it also packs a punch with the performance and handling that it comes with, you know, stock from the factory. And I think you get an amazing bang for your buck when you guys purchase one of these cars. Another topic that I wanted to touch on briefly is maintenance, the cost of maintenance for these cars. Everybody has this idea that, you know, owning a BMW comes with so much reliability issues, so much maintenance, but that is honestly not the case for my car, especially my F80. Again, I'm speaking from my own experience. I have not had any major issues with my car, knock on wood, of course. I've only done like routine, you know, fluid changes, oil changes, brake flushes, and taking care of whatever maintenance light that may come on, you know, the iDrive screen, but that's about it. I have not had any issues with this car. I think in the past like 3 years or so, I've only done like oil changes, and those only run me about, I don't know, like $80 a pop. So it's really not that bad. It really doesn't break the bank. Obviously, the older the car, you know, the more risk comes with that. But my 2017 F80, I have had no problems. So I think these cars are reliable. You know, the big topic of these cars is the crank hub. You know, you can spin them in these cars, and that is probably the biggest kryptonite factor of these cars. But you can argue one or two ways. You know, it is a myth and it doesn't happen, and you can believe that, but it does happen. It happens to stock cars. It happens to tune cars. It can happen to my car, honestly. I haven't done it yet. But personally, I don't really fear the crank hub as much as I used to when I first got the car. And the reason is because I don't drive like a jackass. I don't use the kickdown, and I also don't like downshift from a super high RPM and do it fast. Is exactly what I tell people on Instagram when they ask me about the crank hub and if they should do it. If you guys want to dish out, you know, the few grand it is to upgrade for that peace of mind, I really think it is a good investment. But again, that is, I guess, the biggest reliability factor of these cars, and obviously why, you know, people choose to go to the S58, because they fixed the crank hub issue. But owning this BMW hasn't made me broke yet, even though I have made some crazy financial decisions, of course, with how fast I mod things. But besides the crank hub, I really think these cars are reliable. The S55 itself is an amazing amazing engine. It is a power horse. You can go on Beamer Post or the Facebook groups and you can see a bunch of owners that have ran these S55s over 100,000 miles. I just saw one in Orlando actually for sale that had 170,000 miles on it and it's still running good. So that is a testament itself on how reliable these cars can be, as long as you guys take care of it, of course. So yeah, I think the S55 is an amazing engine and it's been super reliable for me. But again, to hop into one of BMW's, newest M cars for this price range is actually an amazing deal for what you get. And again, going back to the drivability factor, this is actually my daily driver and I absolutely love it. I opted for the M3 because I have 2 big dogs, so I actually use my back seats, and one day when I have a kid, it's also going to be very practical as well. That's another thing that I tell people, is that these cars are super practical, especially the M3 with the back doors. I mean, it is a true grocery getter. I fit like 2x4s in here before. I fit bags of mulch in the trunk. Also, one more thing about price is that the E9X M3s have kind of skyrocketed in price, at least the cleaner ones with lower mileage. So some of those are going for even more than a used F80 or F82, which is kind of crazy. So I think the tech upgrades alone makes this car more superior. Obviously it doesn't sound superior, but overall is well worth the upgrade from the E9X generation. And then on the flip side, if you guys are looking to get a G8X, I think that's what a lot of F8X owners obviously upgrade to, and that is essentially doubling what the price of an F8X would be. So instead of spending around like $40,000, you're at least spending $80,000. So huge jump in price, and a bunch of other factors roll into that. But yeah, I think the price points for these F8Xs are in a nice sweet spot for people to be able to afford comfortably and also enjoy modding and enjoy the performance upgrades as well. And speaking of performance upgrades, that's going to be the next topic that we're going to talk about. With these cars, the aftermarket world is insane. It's out of this world. There's so much aftermarket support for these cars. You name it, there is an aftermarket part for this car. Mods are easily accessible. They're all over the internet, and the community is so big that you can ask pretty much anybody for help and they will give you their advice. Some people are more snooty than others, especially on Facebook. The BMW community is literally the best car community out there. Again, that is not biased. I truly believe that, and that's because I met so many cool people, owning my F30 and now my F80. I've met so many people that have been strangers, and then by the end of our conversation, we are literally like best friends talking on Instagram. And that's literally how I met most of my BMW friends. So this community is amazing and I'm so glad to be a part of it. But that's another great selling point of these cars, is the aftermarket support is endless. And the fact that the car has been out for so long, means that the parts are readily available. And for the most part, they are cheaper, but you are paying for an M car. So you will be paying M car, inflation on certain parts like wheels and carbon, stuff like that. But for the most part, you guys can get parts for fairly cheap for these cars and still mod these cars on a budget. So speaking about aftermarket support, not only are there a bunch of cool vendors and parts that you can order for your car to make it your own and customize it, another cool part is power and performance. You guys can literally get 500 horsepower out of these cars with just a tune and downpipe, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Let's say a tune runs you like $500 or maybe $300 used, and then you get a pair of downpipes, that's another $300, and then you get them installed or do them yourself. All in all, you're in less than $1,000 and you're pushing over 500 horsepower. That is what I'm currently running right now, and I'm personally not chasing power or speed or anything like that, but I think 500 horsepower is plenty enough for me, especially coming from my F30 and my Jetta. So yeah, if you guys are ready to make the jump into one of these cars, I think it's well worth it. Again, G8Xs cost twice the amount, and until you're ready, this car is going to be more than enough. In my opinion, it has the looks, the performance, the drivability, the practicality. So it literally checks all the boxes for myself. Absolutely love these cars. Literally every time I go for a drive, whether it's to the store or on a road trip, this thing is so fun to drive. It brings a huge smile to my face. There's not really much to hate on besides, the crank hub and the exhaust note of these cars from the factory, but other than that, I love driving my F80 M3. We're gonna go do that right now. Like, come on, bruh. That shit looks so gangster. And yeah, your boy put the yellow DRLs in. I got tired of the white, so now the yellows are back in the car and they look so sick. But yeah, can't tell me these cars aren't worth the bang for the buck for what you get. I absolutely love mine. It's one of the best decisions that I have personally made, and I'm so glad I did. So if you guys are on the fence, I think you guys should possibly consider it. Again, the most important thing to take into account is finances, and if you're ready to do so. But comment down below what you guys think about, buying one of these cars in today's economy, in today's market. And if right now the finances aren't right or the interest rate is not a good fit for you, then I would continue to wait, because these cars will continue to depreciate and will continue to drop in prices. I saw them decrease this year, especially compared to the previous years with the crazy inflation. So again, if right now is not the right time for you, keep saving, keep working, and you guys can get this car one day soon. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is something different, more chill, more sit down. We're gonna get back to more lifestyle, more vlog stuff this weekend, so stay tuned for the next week's video. But if you guys enjoy this one, make sure you guys comment down below, give me your feedback, what you guys think, and yeah, hit that subscribe button, follow your boy on Instagram, and we'll see you on next week's video. Take care, peace.